Welcome back to Patman Garage. We are running out of daylight, but we're going to work on the daily driver for a little bit. We have a new Raptor skid plate and mounting hardware that we're going to put underneath the truck, as well as the JXB carrier bearing support bracket. So both of those require me to be under the truck, so I've got the front end lifted up just a little bit underneath some wood blocks here, and I'll show you the skid plate underneath the back of the truck here first, or on the tailgate I should say, and then we'll worry about mounting that next. Alright, so we have the major skid plate part here. I'm actually glad that's showing up on camera because in person the black on black doesn't really show up very well. But it's got some mounting tabs that kind of go up the frame rails on the side. And this is actually backwards here. So this is the front of the skid plate, that's the back of the skid plate. And then we have the extension piece that will bolt on here. And that will give us access to the drain plug without having to drop the entire giant skid plate out of the truck. Like, it actually goes underneath like that. So we'll get some mounting hardware for that guy, get that sorted out before we get it under the truck. And then this is my mounting hardware. The larger J-nuts are the frame rail bolts, and then the smaller ones are going to be for that extension piece. This extension piece is really expensive for what it is, but yeah. Anyways, so we'll get this little guy mounted up here, and then we'll get under the truck next. Alright, so skid plate extension went on pretty easily. There's 3 bolts, 3 J-nuts. When you buy it, you have to buy 4 J-nuts. For whatever reason, they sell them in a pack of 4, but they'll sell you 3 bolts. So I end up with 1 extra J-nut, and there you can see our labeling there, removed for oil change. I highly recommend that you do not use an impact on the J-nuts because they wobble back and forth and you're more likely to break off the J-nut. So get in the habit of doing these by hand. It takes a little bit longer, but it's better in the long run for the hardware. So we'll take the skid plate and we'll slide into the truck with it, and we'll grab our hardware as well and see how this goes. Alright, I got the passenger side hanging already, and I want to just show you the hardware situation on this side. So there are these large square cutouts. This is access for your J-nut itself, and then the J-nut hole will line up on that round hole. So you just slide in and pop it in place. And then same thing on the front one here. We have the hole above it, and J-nut slides and locks in place, and then we'll lift the skid plate up into position and drop our bolts in there. Alright, well, I ended up taking all the bolts back out, and I had to go over the lip of the front skid plate right here where this front tab is. This allowed me, I was having a little bit of a bowing issue because it's supposed to be above it. I think there's probably supposed to be hardware in that area as well, but I don't think we really need it at this point. But maybe if we end up with a rattle, we might do something different there. But for now, got my bolts started here on the outside, and we will work on getting those run down by hand, as we already talked about. Also, side note, this truck is a 5-liter, and it looks like the oil pan is not going to be accessible through my hole. So the oil pan is centered on the engine about here, and obviously that's my access is over here. So I don't know if it's designed to pull this off. I don't know if it's designed to pull the side piece off and then just reach through there and then let it drain through the skid plate. I mean, it kind of looks like this is designed to funnel the way this is shaped, but I don't know. We'll figure that out next time we do an oil change on this truck. A little side profile there. You can see there's a little bit of a hump there. But yeah, we'll get this thing tightened down and see how this goes. And apologies, it's getting dark, but the skid plate went on pretty easily. Did everything by hand as I talked about. Like I said, really happy with the added protection underneath here, as well as a little bit of a deterrent in case somebody thinks they're going to come steal my cats. Haven't had any issues with that, but anything we can do to help deter or slow down, it's always a good thing. So we'll shift into doing the JXB carrier support bearing bracket next. All right, so we need to support the drive shaft, and we're going to unbolt and cut off, just like we did on Fitty. We're going to unbolt and cut some of the bracket away until we can get the rubber off. Then we're going to cut some of the rubber off, and then we'll rebuild it from there. All right, and here's the kit itself. We've got, this is the street version. I don't know what the difference is. These feel maybe just a slight bit softer, but hard to tell for sure. Everything else looks about the same as what we just did on Fitty. This is, of course, our actual center bearing support. Looks identical. And then we got the bag of hardware, which is our top and bottom bushings and washers and bolts. So, like I said, we'll get the truck disassembled and we'll get ready to install this. All right, so I've got the drive shaft. We got the cutoff wheel. We're gonna make our cuts we need to make, and I wanted to show you also. I've got the drive shaft just ready to be caught on the jack stand. Just have it nearby. I don't need to actually like push up on the jack stand to hold the drive shaft. We just want to have it not fall out of the truck whenever we drop that center support out. So I'm gonna go ahead and make my cuts, one on each side, and we'll get this thing apart. All right, I did also want to give a before and after here so you can see how much free play we have in the drive shaft. Now, granted, that's just me pushing a little bit. When this thing's humming down the road, it's got some centrifugal force to it, and it's more likely to stretch and push on those rubbers as well. So just wanted to give a little before and after there. All right, now this truck has the 36-gallon tank in it. Fitment's really tight on this width right here. So I did make a pretty good notch in the side of the carrier bearing support bracket, but I did not feel comfortable going full width because of this rear flange and the fitment up against the tank. I was afraid I was either going to hit the tank or the strap. Now what I ended up doing was cutting all the way through on this side, which includes my outer layer of rubber, and then I just started kind of peeling it down. Again, we're going to come down until we hit that jack stand over there, and hopefully we can get enough of this cut out where we can get the drive shaft out without having to completely cut both sides out. At least that's the game plan. I think that probably is going to be enough opened up, so I'm going to work on getting the rubber starting to cut the rubber off around it, and then we should be able to just slide the drive shaft out of the bracket or start unbolting it either way, and we should be able to get the bracket out. All right, so when I made my outer cut here, I did get nearly all the way through the thickness here of this first layer, of the thicker layer, and then the second layer was just touching in, but I was able to finish that off with the box cutter. And then I'm currently going my way around the drive shaft with the box cutter. What I'm doing is just kind of lifting up on the drive shaft a little bit, and then I'll pull the rubber and it kind of rolls the bearing a little bit, and then I'll cut the next one. Do yourself a favor as you're cutting, cut as close to the inside layer as possible. That'll mean less cleanup whenever you do cut the next, or once you get it all the way off, there'll be less cleanup before you can put the new support on. All right, we got the rest of the rubber cut off. For the most part, maybe have a little bit of cleanup, but overall it's out. I was able to slide the bracket, or what's left of the center support, out of the cut up bracket, as you can see here. So we're ready to unbolt this guy, and then we'll start building the new one back up. So it turns out I didn't even need to make my cut at all on the driver's side, so don't waste your time. Where I was bending was actually up here on the top part of the flat part. So just make a cut on one side and bend it. Save yourself the cut time and save yourself the risk of hurting that gas tank. So we got this bracket out, obviously got it unbolted. I got my 13 millimeters out. and we'll get the new one going back in. All right, as a friendly reminder again in this video, these are J nuts, so you always want to do these by hand. We do have the new bracket we're getting ready to go in here. It's currently upside down in my hand, but that's how I'm holding all the hardware. I did add Loctite to my Allen bolts as well as I did on my other truck, just for peace of mind for myself, and we'll get this thing slid into place and start bolting it down. All right, so I ended up getting it bolted in, but what I ended up doing was using a ratchet wrench so I could help make sure that in one hand could squeeze the top of the J-nut with my finger here and hold the ratchet on the bottom, and that just gave me less variables to contend with. I have it loosely installed. I still have a little bit of wiggle room left to right in it, but I'm going to go ahead and get the drive shaft lined up so I can not have to deal with trying to torque it down when it's in the loose position here. So we're going to get the bottom half collar put on, and then we'll get the main body of the bracket torqued down. Got everything torqued down. I was able to kind of line up with my witness marks from the original one there. So I feel pretty confident about where the location is, since there is a little bit of play in it. The instruction video says that gap is normal, or can be normal. Not to worry about that, so we'll just let that ride. This side's got a pretty good gap on one side, and the other side's basically flush. So it says it's okay. We'll let it ride. We'll call this done under here. We'll get everything put away, hopefully before the storm shows up. Well, I'm back from my initial test drive. I put about 6 miles on the truck so far. I have to say I'm impressed, especially on a cold startup. It made the 10R80 feel more confident, more smooth, if that makes sense. Obviously 10R80 still does 10R80 things and just kind of does some goofy things when it's cold, as you probably are aware, but the actual shift, when it is actually shifting, it does feel smoother. I have not gotten it out on the highway yet. I am looking forward to that as well. I think that it will be an added bonus as well, and also looking forward to the next time I get to tow with the truck as well. So overall success, and appreciate you checking out a video of mine. Leave me a comment if you think that this video was helpful or if you learned something new, and I will catch you in the next one.